Hello and welcome to Positive News, where I only share uplifting news stories to make your day a little brighter. The first story today comes from the Good News Network. I know we are past Halloween at this point, but I still wanted to share this story with you. Target now sells specially adapted Halloween costumes for children in wheelchairs. This year they offered a pirate and a princess costume. The clothing is designed for easy dressing with an opening in the back. They also have a pirate ship and fairy tale carriage wheelchair covers, which are sold separately. When the costumes were first released, they sold out, but they did get them back in stock before Halloween. I think it is wonderful to see Target catering to a market that doesn't have a lot of options and making things easier for children in wheelchairs and allowing them to enjoy Halloween and have fun in costume. The next story is from ABC News. Brady Campbell, a 6-year-old boy, made a plan with his dad before he passed on to cheer up his mom. He wanted to raise money so he could take his mom on a date. He started a lemonade stand to do just that. Brady's dad, Brandon, died of stage 4 colon cancer at age 37. Brady described his dad to KDVR TV as, quote, funny, kind, nice, and smart. Friends and neighbors gathered to support Brady and his lemonade stand, as did first responders who were notified by a Denver police officer. Firefighters from Denver's Tower 27 let Brady get behind the wheel of their fire truck and blast the sirens. They even let him hitch a ride in their rescue bucket. By the end of the day, Brady raised $244, more than enough to take his mother, Amanda Campbell, on a date. She said, quote, Brady's a very sweet soul. He's always looking out for everybody else. He really learned that from his dad. I know Brandon would be very, very proud, end quote. A friend later started a GoFundMe page, a so-called virtual lemonade stand. Quote, we will use a small portion of the funds raised for Brady and Amanda to continue having adventures and dates together. We will use the rest to honor the palliative care team and cancer center at University of Colorado Anschutz. Even in Brandon's darkest days fighting cancer, he still believed in honoring the people who served as cheerleaders and advocates for those struggling, a post on the page said. As of the time of this story, the page had raised more than $38,000, and planning for that mom and son date is currently in the works. I think Brady is quite incredible. Here he did something kind and positive to make his mom happy in what I imagine was a very difficult time for both of them. Our third story today comes from Sunny Skies. Sergeant Seth Craven was able to see the birth of his son thanks to the kindness of total strangers. Craven, 26, had to get around the world to be at the hospital for his wife's scheduled cesarean delivery. He was in Afghanistan, where he serves with the West Virginia National Guard. He flew to Kuwait and then to Philadelphia, where matters grew complicated. Storms caused a cancellation, so he was forced to stay in a hotel overnight. He was scheduled to fly out the next morning. While sitting on the plane the next morning, they experienced maintenance issues. After about 30 minutes of remaining seated on the plane, everybody had to get off and went back inside. After that, it was delay after delay. Quote, they just kept pushing it and pushing it, Craven said. If they had canceled from the beginning, I would have found a way somehow. Because of the storms, there were not rental vehicles at all from the airport, he said. The next flight wasn't until 10:30 a.m. the next day, so I would have missed all of it. Fortunately, word of Craven's plight started circulating among the passengers. His story reached Charlene Vickers, who was also on a deadline. She needed to reach Charleston by noon the next day. She lives in the Philadelphia area, so her car was parked at the airport. She introduced herself to Craven and said, quote, I'm getting to West Virginia tonight, come hell or high water. So, are you willing to join this crazy party of ours? End quote. Craven didn't even wait to get his suitcase. He rode shotgun for the 8-hour drive with Vickers behind the wheel and 2 of her work colleagues in the back seat. The group arrived at his house just past midnight. His 9-pound, 8-ounce boy Cooper was born the next morning. Quote, "If it wasn't for Charlene, I never would have made it," Craven said. "All she wanted in return was pictures of the baby." End quote. This is another wonderful example of acts of kindness. These people were strangers, and Charlene did not have to reach out to Seth, but she did, and went out of her way to help him so that he could be there for the birth of his baby. The next story is from the Good News Network. A little boy's simple act of kindness towards his classmate is having a big impact on social media users. 8-year-old Christian Moore was headed into his first day of classes at Minea Elementary in Wichita, Kansas, when he saw another boy curled up in a ball crying by an outside corner of the school. Without hesitation, Christian approached the boy and consoled him until it was time to go inside. He then took the hand of his new friend and walked him inside of the school. Little did Christian know, the distressed youngster, 8-year-old Connor Kreitz, had been overwhelmed by his first day of school because he has autism. Christian's mother, Courtney Moore, was so moved by her son's act of kindness toward his classmate, she snapped a picture of the 2 young students holding hands and published it to social media. Quote, "I saw him on the ground with Connor, as Connor was crying in the corner and he was consoling him. He grabs his hand and walks him to the front door. We waited until the bell rang and he walked him inside of the school. The rest is history. They have an inseparable bond," Courtney told KAKE. The photos have since been shared thousands of times, and the 2 boys enjoy their newfound friendship. Their mothers hope that it will inspire people to be kind to others. Quote, "One act of kindness can change someone's life, can change the world," Courtney said proudly. "That's all it takes." End quote. What a powerful statement Courtney made. It is true, an act of kindness can have a big impact. You may never know the impact you're making on someone's day or even life. We should also remember we never know what someone else is going through, whether that be our neighbor or a complete stranger. We should all try a little harder to be kinder to one another. The final story today comes from thelittlethings.com. Like so many teenage girls around the country, Lily Jordan is a huge fan of the Jonas Brothers. With her coveted tickets in hand, she couldn't wait to see their live concert in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Lily is currently undergoing cancer treatment. According to PennLive.com, she has twice battled osteosarcoma, a cancer that produces immature bone. The disease has cost her her left leg, and her right hip was permanently dislocated after hip replacement surgery. Imagine how crushed Lily felt when she learned her dream of seeing the Jonas Brothers would have to wait. She had to cancel her plans to attend the concert for an urgent chemotherapy session at Penn State Children's Hospital. Quote, "I was supposed to be at your Hershey concert tomorrow, but instead I'm across the street doing chemo," Lily wrote on Instagram. Then she threw out a casual invitation, not thinking it would actually lead to anything. Quote, "If y'all wanted to pop in, I'll give you my room number," end quote, she added. Unbeknownst to Lily, her Instagram post was about to go viral thanks to the power of social media, turning her chemo session into something incredibly special and unforgettable. The brothers ended up seeing her post and going to visit her in her hospital room. They took pictures with her, signed shirts, and asked her favorite song of theirs so they could dedicate it to her at the concert. I think it's nice to hear when celebrities who are busy and on tour still go out of their way to make fans happy, especially someone such as Lily, who is a really big fan and going through a difficult time. I think what I'm taking away from this episode of Positive News is that we should all remember to count our blessings and be thankful for what we have, whether that's our health, the people in our life, or a roof over our head. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I would love it if you would tell me down in the comments something that you are grateful for or an act of kindness that you've done lately. Thank you for watching. I hope I could make your day a little more positive. Bye!